Legends of the Dugout.
Everybody knows, Bobby, there's a baseball code. Ryan Dempster may have gone outside that code with what happened with A-Rod. We'll get the take of all three of you guys. I'm sure everyone in the room is familiar with it. Ryan Dempster threw the first pitch behind Rodriguez, then threw two up and in, and then with a 3-0 count, he hit him up on his left shoulder with the fourth pitch. Dempster has very good control. He'd hit. Well, I understand that there's some sentiment to that effect, that this was a means of expressing general disapproval with A-Rod. Dempster has very good control. He'd only hit 6 guys in his previous 306 innings of work, so little doubt about the intention. What did you think?
The last guy hit was Brian McCann 3 years ago. Our guy. No. When A-Rod did come back, I thought that some of the pitchers, probably, especially the veteran guys, would buzz him a little bit. Something that evolved with me as a manager, I think. I didn't think it necessary to throw at guys all the time when other players on your team says, this guy did this and that. We were trying to win, not wake up other teams. And we had a situation in Arizona, 2009 or so. Andrew Jones got hit on a 3-0 pitch, right? And Buck Showalter was the manager. And I said, no, boys, we're not doing anything this game. We'll get him later. And we didn't play him until next year. So Maddox is the pitcher when we go into Bennis was their pitcher. We go into Arizona. He's starting pitcher. He comes into my office. He said, does it still go? And I said, what are you talking about? He said, don't you remember? We're supposed to hit Bennis. I said, oh, yeah, it still goes. And, when he came up, he hit him. Buck Showalter, the manager, tipped his hat, and Bennis did the same thing. So, you're trying to win ball games, number one.
Tommy, you have maybe a little different take. Some people may not know, before you were a famous manager, you were a left-handed pitcher in the Dodgers system, pitched a little bit in the majors, long time in the minors. And you told me a story once about a guy you threw at in the minor leagues for a specific reason.
Well, when I was a kid in Holy Savior, 8th grade, I became a patrol officer just because I found out the nun was going to take the patrol officers to a game free of charge. So I stood out in the snow, the sleet, the hail, the rain, helping the other kids across the street. So now the day of reckoning comes. We go down to Philadelphia. We live about 15 miles from Philadelphia. And the Phillies were playing the New York Giants. And I made up a little book to get some autographs. So I stood outside this clubhouse door asking for autographs, and this guy come out and he pushed me. He said, get the hell out of the way. I couldn't believe that a major league player would do that. They were my heroes. I felt, oh my God, this guy. And as he walked away, I looked at the number. I bought a program for 10 cents. And I looked at his name. His name was Buster Maynard. Screaming at him. So about 6 years later, I'm pitching opening day in the Sally League, and we're playing the Yankee farm team. And I get the first 2 guys out, and I hear the guy say, now batting for the Augusta Yankees, the left fielder, Buster Maynard. Wow. Man, I lowered the boom on him. What a sight it was to see his toes pointed up there, looking up at the big Dodger in the sky. So he didn't say anything. He got in there again, and I unloaded again. Now he knows there's something wrong here. So he said, don't throw at me again. I said, what are you going to do about it? He said, I'll come out there after. I said, why don't you come out now and save me the next pitch? Come on. So he said, I'm telling you, don't throw at me. I said, get in there. So I threw at him, and although, I didn't have good control, so I missed him. And he came after me, and we started fighting. After the game's over, I'm coming out of the clubhouse. Comes this guy over to me. He said, where's Tommy Lasorda? And I wanted him to identify himself before I told him who I was the guy. And he says, I said, who are you? He said, I'm Buster Maynard. Oh. I said, hey, I clean your plow out there. I can do it right here again. He said, look, I don't want to. He said, this is on my mind. I've been in baseball a long time. And he said, I know one thing. The only reason why a guy will try to hit a batter is, number one, he don't like him, and number two, the guy's getting a lot of hits off him. So what the hell are you throwing at me for? I don't even know you. I said, you know me. You pushed me when you come out of that clubhouse in Philadelphia and walked away, and I broke my heart because I thought major league players were great. And that's why I threw at you. He said, are you serious? I said, you damn right I'm serious. And he walked away shaking his head. So I told my players, when a kid comes up and asks you for your autograph, you better give it, or he may knock you on your ass one day.
You know, we had one of the all-timers, and the game has changed, and no one thinks that anyone should throw at anyone's head, and neither did Bob Gibson. When he moved the guy off the plate, that was the intention, and if the guy got hit, if he was crowding the plate, that's the way the game was played in those days. Frank Robinson stood right on top of the plate, Don Drysdale came sidearm, hit him a bunch of times, that's the way the game was played. Okay, so we all know about Gibby and what kind of a competitor he was. The last game he ever pitched at the old Busch Stadium, Red Schoendienst did not want to take him out of the game. Out of respect, he wanted him to walk off on his own, but he couldn't get out of the inning. He was 40 years old, and he was at the end of the line. The last pitch he ever threw in the major leagues, Pete Lecoq for the Cubs hit for a grand slam home run. All right, now fast forward 15 years. There's an old-timers game at Wrigley Field. Gibson's pitching, up comes Lecoq. He hit him. And I heard this story, and I got to find out if it's true. And I asked Gibson, and he said, Robert, here's the way it goes. The ledger must be balanced, no matter how long it takes.